Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, August 18th, 2023. It's a great day to be a Geordie. Newcastle still sits atop the league. 3 points. I had to do it. We got a huge win last week, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of the fan base now. Luke, how are you feeling? I know you said you're not tired, but you did just wake up from a nap. This is now both of my co-hosts in the same week taking naps on me. I'm staying up grinding, and these guys are sleeping. It's crazy.
Shout out Colin, man. We're a lot similar than I thought we were, I guess, and I really hope he's listening to this because that's funny as fuck.
Yeah, it's hilarious that both of you guys fell asleep, and I'm texting, and I'm like, "Hey, what time do you guys want to record?"
Oh man, yeah, but I hope everybody is not as tired as me. With back to school, I hope everybody's back to school's great. I know some of the colleges in Georgia start on Monday, and this episode will air Friday. So I hope that having a last good weekend of summer. But for the ones that did start class, I hope it went well because I know it can be a stressful time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, here we are to bring the podcast to you, make it less stressful.
Yeah, and there's nothing less stressful than the MLB right now, and that is entirely sarcastic.
Okay, good.
There's news, there's results, there is quite a few things going on in the MLB, so of course we got to recap it, and then we're going to talk about this weekend. We got some fantastic matchups. We're going to continue the series, NFC West Preview this week, starting off the NFC. Then, of course, our Premier League Weekend Preview, some transfer news with a lot of huge news in the transfer news, some stuff that's happened over the past week that, of course, came out on Friday after we had already recorded the episode. That pisses me off. All the transfer news has to go down over the weekend, and then we just have to wait like a week to talk about it. But and then we'll round it out with Stake Your Claim because it's hot take season. Luke, let's just go ahead and get into these winners and losers. And yeah, fuck it. We'll start here. My first winner of the week, all LA professional sports teams. The 12 professional sports teams in LA teamed up to donate $450,000 to the Red Cross's. Oh my God! I just told I'm just gonna start from the top. That was brutal.
Come on, man. No, that was all right. That was okay.
All 12 professional teams in LA teamed up to donate $450,000 to the Red Cross's Hawaii wildfire relief efforts, which means, if they split it up evenly, which they probably didn't, probably some teams front-loaded it, but $37,500 from each team there. So that's fantastic. I don't know if you saw everything that happened in Hawaii, but it is horrible, and a ton of people have lost their homes. It like an entire island is essentially gone.
Our hearts from Second and Short definitely go out to Hawaii, but I'm going to be a little bit picky, Grayson. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit picky. 12 LA sports teams. We're talking big markets.
We are
450. There are athletes that could drop.
Yeah, okay, but you got to think about the fact that this is coming from sports organizations that, though they are profitable, they have quite a few costs, and you can't just be like each one of them roughly giving up $37,500. Like, not everybody's got that in the budget, because you got to remember, like, this includes like the WNBA teams, the soccer teams, like. They probably didn't even contribute that much. It was probably like the Dodgers and the Lakers just like front loading that.
Of course, yeah. But I mean, hey, still a great look. That's a huge W for LA sports. I love that. And I mean, of course, like I'm over here bitching, but like in reality, every little bit helps. I mean, you can see the pictures and the videos. So it was horrible out there.
Yeah. And speaking of every little bit helps, my kind of loser, I can't totally call them a loser for this, but the Oakland Athletics, about a day before this LA collective sent $450,000, the Oakland Athletics announced that they're donating $10,000 to support the disaster relief efforts.
Gotcha.
So okay. They're not a loser, but they certainly got dwarfed by LA.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. They probably are thinking, about the move and everything too. So.
Yeah.
They got a lot of big things going on.
Yeah,
so maybe I shouldn't be too hard on the team.
Hopefully their owner can like afford lunch. 10,000's a lot for the A's.
It is. Hopefully he'll keep his house cool during this heat.
Yeah, he really needs it. Hopefully his Hawaii property didn't burn down.
Of course.
But our next winner, the Los Angeles Dodgers, in August specifically. Every year at this time, the Dodgers just dominate baseball. Over the last 3 seasons, August has gone this way. 2020, they were 21-7 in August. 2021, 21-6. 2022, 22-6. They've won almost 80% of their games in August over the last 3 seasons, and this year's no different. They're on a 10-game win streak, and they are 14-1 so far this August.
Dude, I'm looking at it now because I haven't really been paying attention to much going on in the NL West. Bro, the Giants
they have a 10-game lead.
Games
it's
back
insane.
now. What happened?
The Diamondbacks can't win a game to save their life, except when Zach Gallen pitches, and the Giants have just been so mediocre.
Yeah, they're 3-7 in their last 10, but I don't remember them being. I feel like their record is better than the last time I looked. I mean, they're better than the Diamondbacks now, and they're they're well over 500, I would say.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, it's gone a little weird. But let's talk about a team that isn't good in August this year, at least. The Yankees. So I'm gonna go through my information. I'd like you to at least let me get through my points, and then I'm gonna let you free. So they just got swept by the Braves. Get fucked. And only scored 3 runs. Yes. Oh, they only scored 3 runs in the series, all in the series opener, which was an 11-3 loss. Aaron Boone is speaking the words of a man that has entirely given up, saying, "We're going to continue to come to work and work our butts off."
Oh, God.
The Yankees are under 500 this late into a season for the first time since 1992. Last time the Yankees were under 500 this late into the season, Derek Jeter was recalled from the minors for good. 9 active Yankees weren't born yet, and Aaron Boone was in Double-A.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually had that stat, but mine was 1995, so I was even doing the team a little justice. I saw it across the ticker today that we are below 500 for the first time since 1995 in August.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Am I good?
I got one more thing. The fans are demanding a Fire Cashman night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's really gone that far.
It's gone bad, but Luke, the leash is off. The floor is yours.
Well, even in the series before, going into the Braves, our last game against the Marlins was, once again, another Garrett Cole start, which I guess I can't get happy about anymore. No matter how good Garrett Cole pitches, I guess I should always expect a loss because the bullpen will come and fuck it up, or the offense will just never help them out the entire time. Yankees fans, it sounds weird, but we're so bad that we actually belong here. I'm tired of it. But this is what's happening. I've accepted the fact that my Yankees are it's a miracle that we weren't below 500 before. Honestly, at this point, it's crazy to me. Like that walk-off that we had against the Marlins, absolutely horrible. And then Severino's start against the Braves. I mean, what more could I expect from him at this point? Should have gotten traded at the deadline when he still had some value. Yankees are probably going to try to trade him in the offseason or maybe before next deadline. Now that he has no value, he's complete shit. I'm going to throw some stats at you, Grayson.
Please.
So before last night's loss to the Braves, the Yankees are 29th in batting average. Aaron Judge is not injured anymore, so we can't make that excuse. 22nd in runs scored, 8th in home runs because, we're a power hitting team for no fucking reason, 13th in team ERA, we're 10th in whip, and 1st in batting average against. So That's how bad it is. But as a Yankees fan, I always got to bring you some good Yankee news. During the series with the Marlins, Anthony Volpe became the 2nd Yankee rookie to ever hit 15 home runs and steal 20 bases. Grayson, do you know the other Yankee rookie that has done that same thing? There's only one other guy.
I'm trying to think of guys that were rookies with the Yankees.
Very good player for the Yankees. Played for a super long time. He became this in 2001. So he was
2001.
the first rookie to ever do it.
Trying to think of guys, because did Alfonso Soriano come up with the Yankees?
It is Alfonso
Okay.
Soriano.
Yeah.
Yep. And the only other thing I have is Aaron Judge hit his longest home run of the season versus the Marlins. He hit one that was 464.
Solid.
Yep. That's literally the only good things that I have to talk about with the Yankees. I mean, Clark Schmidt is right now probably like our most effective pitcher. Garrett Cole's better than him, but Garrett Cole can't get the win because Garrett Cole can't play offense.
Well, Clark Schmidt didn't have a great one in his little homecoming in Atlanta.
No, he didn't. Did not.
But
yeah, it's been absolutely brutal. The Yankees, kind of like what we talked about a couple episodes. There's no I can't even see the blueprint anymore. Like Carlos Rodon's hurt. Don't even know about Nestor Cortez anymore. I don't know if he's going to be good or not. I have no end goal with this team. After this season, no clue what's going to happen with us next season. Don't know if we're going to be the same. Don't know if we're going to be worse. It's honestly as much as I joke about it and as much as I shit on the Yankees, it's a horrible time right now. We could not be in a worse position. I feel like.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? Colin on Wednesday's episode said that there won't be a World Series in New York between the Mets or Yankees for the next 10 years.
As much as I hate to say it, right now, couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
All right. It's fine by me.
I'm sure.
But let's get to my next winner. I don't want to keep kicking you while you're down.
I know.
Walk-offs. Walk-offs are a winner this week. First, Christopher Morel's walk-off 3-run homer. Beautiful. And he was asked what he was thinking while rounding the bases. And his English isn't perfect. I'll preface this with that. But he said, "I made a homer. Cubs win." Simple.
I love that.
Simple. He made a homer, and the Cubs won.
That's exactly what happened.
It is. That's what he was thinking, too. So glad we're on the same page, Christopher. And then the Royals. They walk off the Mariners with a walk-off bunt up the first baseline by Darren Blanco. Dairon? I don't know how to say his first name. He plays for the Royals. But yeah, that's the two ends of the spectrum on hitting a walk-off.
Yeah.
A walk-off bunt and a walk-off 3-run home run.
Unbelievable, man.
But my next loser, umpires. What a surprise. Who would have thought they'd be here? In the week of August 6th, umpires missed 1,028 calls.
Damn.
Just balls and strikes.
Did this have anything to do with that post that I sent you sometime last week of the top 10 missed calls? Okay, cool.
It did. Yeah. Shout out Umpire Auditor on Twitter. They keep track of all of this, and they are fantastic at it.
Yeah, it's actually cool information. Of how baseball tracks umpire stats as well. I mean, of course, with how intricate baseball is, why wouldn't they? But I just feel as kind of a new to really following baseball fan like I am, umpire stats I think is a really, really cool thing about baseball.
Yeah, it's a very recent thing too. Only in the last couple of years did we start getting those umpire scorecards, and now people just counting how many calls they're missing.
Yeah.
But my next winner, Chapman and McLean Way. You're probably asking who these people are, because those are names that they're not baseball players. I'll tell you that. They're the brothers that are the creators behind the Untold series on Netflix. They're in the middle of their volume 3 of the series, and this series has included in the past weeks, they dropped an episode about Jake Paul, a full-length documentary, and then the Johnny Football documentary that everybody's been talking about, the Johnny Manziel. And just a few days ago, Hall of Shame. I haven't watched it just yet, but It's a deep dive into the origins of Balco Laboratories and Victor Conte, who propelled the idea of doping into professional sports. And he's like one of the guys that like straight up supplied like Giambi, Bonds, and like athletes across all other sports.
Dang, that's a cool thing to make a documentary about.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to watch it tonight, but next week they follow up this one with the Swamp Kings, about the Florida team, University of Florida, with Aaron Hernandez, Tim Tebow, and the rest of those criminals.
The Pouncey brothers?
Yeah, Pouncey brothers. I'm blanking on the guy's name. I think he was the running back. He was drunk driving. Yeah.
Florida running back.
Can't remember. It's not a big. He's not a big deal, so it's not a problem. But we'll move on here. My next loser is Luke Weaver. You may remember his name because he was a winner like every week for like 3 weeks in a row. Because he would pitch so bad, and the Reds would just win. Unfortunately, that came to an end. Not the poor pitching, of course, but the winning, and he was DFA'd by the Reds.
Oh no.
Yeah, so the Luke Weaver fun is over.
Still an above 500 team, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the Reds are only 2.5 games back. They're actually tied with the Cubs right now, kind of, as far as picture.
Yeah, they don't look horrible, but the pitching certainly isn't there. My next winner, though, Chas McCormick. Yeah, he hit a game-tying home run the other day, but more importantly, I just found out about his nickname. Embrace yourself. This is top tier.
Okay. I'm sitting back. I'm ready.
The Chasmanian Devil.
Oh, yeah. You love to see it.
That's so fucking good. Oh, my God.
We should have a part 2 of our nickname draft.
We might have to. That could be something we do down the line. But let's talk about this. This is so interesting. My next loser, the outfield at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. On Wednesday, there was supposed to be a Bruce Springsteen concert at Citizens Bank Park, and it was canceled due to the boss, as he is known, being sick. But it came out that there was also a huge sinkhole in the outfield.
No way.
Yeah. It didn't look that big, but in terms of a baseball field, it was probably 2 feet in diameter. Pretty deep. Could have been very dangerous. It has been filled, but imagine if like the center fielder stepped in it and it just fell beneath them and just got like their whole legs sucked into the ground.
Yeah, that would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm glad that didn't, happen in a game or something ridiculous like that.
I think the idea that sinkholes exist and they could be anywhere scares the fuck out of me all the time.
Oh yeah, like people's houses just falling into hole. Yeah, it's weird, man.
Especially like I have family from Florida, and like they just have stories about like sinkholes in their area.
It's weird. Like the idea of like a sinkhole. Like I can tell the way you're talking about it, but I'm in agreement that it's like such like a foreign, scary concept for us.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It just I don't know. It just makes me feel weird thinking about the fact that like I could just be driving on the road and like the whole road could just get sucked under.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's wild. But let's move on. My next winner is Kevin Brown. Yes, Orioles announcer. The man has been on a heater in the booth ever since his return. Oh my God. The other night against the Padres, they're getting blown out. Or somebody was blowing somebody out. I can't even remember. This man was doing... Okay. All right. But Kevin Brown was in the booth doing his best Tom DeLonge impression to his fellow commentator, Ben McDonald, straight up singing Blink-182 because Ben McDonald said he had never heard of him.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what's crazier, the fact he's singing Blink-182 and I missed it, or the fact that his commentator didn't know who they were.
Yeah, dude, the clip is so funny. He hits the Tom DeLonge impression almost spot on for like the chorus of I Miss You.
Oh wow.
It's great.
So he's actually like getting into it, like trying to sound like the lead singer.
Oh yeah, he certainly sounded like Tom
No
DeLonge. It was amazing.
way.
And to top it off, in this exact same series, he had a perfect call on Juan Soto after he fouled a ball off the ground into his dick.
Forgot that happened too.
He goes, Juan Soto grounds one off of Juan Soto, and he goes down hard. Takes a long pause. This is not where you want it. And then he goes, one replay, please. One and done. And then a few seconds later says, that'll hurt your feelings.
Oh, man.
So shout out Kevin Brown. The man is on a heater.
Out of your back.
Yes.
Your back.
Yes. But my next loser, safety in the on-deck circle. I don't know if you saw this, but Donovan Solano fouled a ball off, and it hit Christian Vazquez right on the front of the brim of his helmet.
God.
While Vazquez was in the on-deck circle. Like, that could have been so bad.
That's like point-blank range.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Yeah, like, not very far away. Just straight up dings it off, like, the top of his bat, and it literally, like, hit his helmet, like, on the brim flush, and just, like, knocked his helmet off.
You know, and that's kind of... I think we could have, like, a kind of, like, another kind of discussion on this, and it's just kind of surprising to me that, like, that's where, like, the net was extended. Like, I'll never forget when, oh my God, what's that? He played third baseman for the Yankees and the Mets. Is it Todd Frazier?
Yeah.
He hit a foul ball as a Yankee, and I can't remember what stadium it was. It may have been at Yankee Stadium, but it hit a little girl, like, really hard. It was a horrible scene, and I remember that was, like, one of the big proponents, and I'll use the word that you use, propelled nets
Nice.
at MLB stadiums. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what that means for the on-deck circle in the future, because, like, as a non-baseball fan, it seems like you're in the line of fire there, even.
Oh, yeah, like, there's not really a place on the field that you're not, kind of in range. And I think what you're referencing, I believe was... I think there was also I'm trying to think of the word, Jesus, an incident where I think it had to do with, like, a Cubs-Astros game.
Okay.
And there was a Cubs fan, maybe an Astros fan, I can't quite remember, and it was, like, a young girl, and she got drilled, and then, like, the next season, they extended the nets.
Yeah.
So it could have been that situation. I'm pretty sure Todd Frazier played for the Cubs, so it could have been him.
Okay.
But nonetheless, yeah, like that, the on-deck circle is weird because, like, in, like, youth baseball, typically you would just, like, when the guy comes up to the plate, you go to whichever side is behind him, because that's the only way you're not, like, for sure getting, like, or there's a good chance you're not going to get that ball hit at you, is if you're behind them. In the MLB, if you're the away team, if you're the home team, you're on the first base side, the batter is a righty, you have to stay on your home team's side for the on-deck circle. And so you're literally just straight across from him, essentially.
Yeah.
And exactly. It is so dangerous, and that's what was happening in this incident.
Okay, so a pitch got, crap, what's the word? It's not, what's the opposite of pull?
What?
In baseball. If I'm a righty and I hit one, if I smack one to left field, that's it. I pulled the pitch, right?
Yep.
So what is the opposite? If I'm a righty and I hit one to the right of me to right field, what would that be called?
Hitting opposite field, but
okay. So you're on the on-deck circle. You'd be in the line of fire if he hits opposite.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. But my next winner, the dimensions of Oracle Park.
Okay.
Luke Raley hit one of the most outrageous inside the park home runs I've ever seen. So if you know Oracle Park, the Giants stadium, it hit the wall, like pretty high up on the wall on the right side of Triple's Alley. It caroms off that wall, bounces off the top of the wall to the left side, stays in like the literal top of the fence, stays in play and rolls so far away that Luke Raley was already at home by the time the ball was being thrown in.
I saw that one too. I remember like watching the ball bounce, and I was thinking, I was like, damn, if he doesn't get an inside the park home run, like this is gonna be pretty bad.
Yeah, and like by the time, like once he hit it, like especially at that field, if you hit it that way, you got to be hauling ass because you know you could get a triple out of it. Yep. So yeah, that was
if you make it roll across the top of the wall and go all like literally the furthest it can be in left field, you'll probably make it home.
Yeah, it was insane to watch. And then my last loser, people who thought they liked aquariums. Because you just
wait for you to talk about this.
You just got beat by Aussie Albies.
Yes, you did.
He has 4 huge fish tanks at his house and a koi pond. And he has a ring doorbell camera, essentially, but like the Ring indoor cameras that look inside of his tanks so that he can watch his fish while he's on the road.
I'm one of the losers here.
He has a shark.
Yeah,
he has a shark.
I have dimensions here from his tanks, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, he owns a 12-foot fish. I think that might be the biggest. That could be the shark you're talking about. He has 3 tanks in his house that measure 550, 300, and 450. That's all in gallons, by the way. And of course, he developed that, growing up in Curacao that I read, which is just super cool. And yeah, I'm definitely one of the losers because I've always wanted a fish tank in my house like that. I think that's sick.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck. But also in his koi pond, he calls for the fish, and there are some of them that actually come to him when he calls for them.
Yeah, that's straight up. I grew up in Curacao. I can talk to fish.
I think he said like his grandpa had a koi pond at his house back in like the early 2000s, and that's when he like developed his love for fish.
I think that is so sick. I'm glad you had it on here because I had it on here as well. For my notes.
it's amazing. So that's the end of the winners and losers. So I'll let you take the floor, and then I got a couple of things, and we'll finish off the MLB with a little Wander Franco update.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take it to the minor leagues because our man Paul Skynes.
Careful, we just talked about Wander Franco.
Oh, true. So for the second time, we're going to take it to the minor leagues with Paul Skynes. He debuted for the Florida Coast League Pirates. I guess it was sometime last week, or maybe it was actually a little bit more recent. I can't really remember.
Yeah.
They gave him 11 pitches. I'll just go ahead and tell you now, Grayson. 11 of those pitches were 10 fastballs. He threw 8 strikes and 3 balls, and they all went something like this. 99-mile-per-hour fastball. 100-mile-per-hour fastball, 100-mile-per-hour fastball, 89-mile-per-hour ball. I don't know what that pitch was. 101 miles per hour fastball, 101-mile-per-hour ball, 101-mile-per-hour ball, 99-mile-per-hour strike, 101-mile-per-hour strike, 99-mile-per-hour strike. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That he could go 9 innings too. I mean, he's a starting pitcher. It's not just, we're not living in that prehistoric world where it's only your bullpen guys or, a few starters that can kind of pull off this feat. This dude, fuck, Grayson. that is all I can say is just fuck.
Yeah.
No, he just looks ridiculous.
He does.
Like, it's goofy numbers to me.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely insane. Obviously he was showing off because his new girlfriend Livy Dunn was up in the boxes.
Oh God,
she was. I'm not kidding.
No, it's just another one that I'll never get. It just takes another one off.
Yep, it sure is.
It's very fitting though.
But she's very fit as well. But let's talk about a different prospect on the entire other side of the spectrum of performances. Griff McGarry. He is the Philadelphia Phillies' number 6 overall prospect, and he's not looking like it at the beginning of his AAA career. Didn't look good. Certainly did not look good. I believe he went 0.0 innings.
Wow.
And didn't give up a hit, but he did give up, I believe, 7 runs.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walks and stuff?
I believe so. I'm trying to. I lost my page that I was looking at. Um, let's see. Here it is. Um, he went. Never mind. It just went away. Awesome. Um, okay, here we go. Yes, 6 walks, no strikeouts, an ERA of 50.63.
I feel like that's in a way like walking every batter is almost worse than just having an inning where you're just getting yammed on.
Yeah, yeah. 0 innings pitched, 0 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned runs, 6 walks, no strikeouts.
Brutal.
Yeah, tough. And he didn't look any better in his next start after.
Gotcha. I have some injury news.
All right.
Edwin Diaz. Yes, Edwin Diaz. Somebody who I'm sure probably a lot of people forgot about, like I did as well. But I saw a headline today that he's throwing off of a mound again. And of course, he was hurt in a celebration injury in the World Baseball Classic. And so just good news that he's throwing off the mound again. And I'm going to go one more here. Shane McClanahan, unfortunately,
Yep.
a pitcher in my division who I'm not very fond of, but I don't like it when, really good pitchers and really good baseball players get hurt. His season is over because he'll need Tommy John surgery. So that is also not very good news.
I actually watched a very interesting video popped up on my TikTok about this. So it's been, I believe, 7 years since he got Tommy John. I think it was right out of college that he had.
So he's had it before.
Yeah, and this is a relatively normal occurrence. There's a bit of a shelf life on Tommy John surgery because it's a full reconstruction essentially of your UCL, and like a lot of guys, like top pitchers in the league, have had it twice. Like DeGrom has had it twice. I think Verlander's had it twice. Dustin May has had it twice in like 5 years. And among multiple other notable pitchers, I think Walker Buehler had it right out of college as well. So it's not like the end of the world, but it's certainly much harder to come back from the second one.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully Shane McClanahan can, because he is he's so fun to watch, dude.
Yeah,
so is. Fun to watch. So,
all right.
And I only have one more news piece. If you were done as well. I have some happy news because it's about Miguel Cabrera. Who could hate Miguel Cabrera at this point in his career? Honestly, tied former Tiger teammate Gary Sheffield hitting a home run. I think it was sometime last week. He hit one 437. Grayson. It was his longest in 2 years, and I think I didn't actually write it down, but he tied his former Tiger teammate Gary Sheffield on like the all-time list, and I think that puts him at like 26, maybe.
Yeah, I know Gary Sheffield's
home runs all time.
Yeah.
So congrats Miguel Cabrera. Said that he even surprised himself too, which is just like just warms my heart that like an athlete that used to be like superhuman. He's old and he's still playing, and he's like even surprising himself. And I just am like, what do you mean you're surprising yourself? You're Miguel Cabrera, but I of course I get it with the age and everything. So yeah, good Miguel Cabrera news.
Yeah, I think I also saw. I think they played the Twins this week, and the Twins gave him a hockey stick, a fishing rod, and a tackle box.
That's so sick.
It's very Minnesota of them.
Of course.
Love
it.
So before we get into this Wander Franco update that is not good, I saw this question on Reddit, and I figured I'd ask, if you could build a dream infield of anyone in MLB history, who are you picking? But I'm going to add a stipulation. You can't pick Yankees players, and I can't pick Braves players.
Did I have to think of 4 right now?
I've already got mine, so I can go first, and you can
can
develop your infield. It's just going to be first, second, third, and short. So my first baseman would be Albert Pujols, just because I love Albert Pujols. He's one of the best first basemen of all time. Second base, I'm taking Joe Morgan, because I have an infatuation with the Big Red Machine and that whole era of the Reds. And then third base, I've said this before, my favorite non-Braves jersey is a Mike Schmidt powder blue Phillies jersey. So I had to take Mike Schmidt at third base. One of the probably one of, if not the best third baseman of all time.
Yep.
And then at shortstop, Alex Rodriguez.
Okay. Crap, this is gonna be hard. First baseman, it's between three. I've always loved Rizzo, Freddie, and Goldie, but I think I would take Goldie out of all those guys. I'm a huge Paul Goldschmidt guy.
I love it.
So you don't mean second base? I can't take Robinson, Cano, shortstop Jeter, third base
Nope.
A-Rod?
Nope, you cannot.
Crap, can I?
I wouldn't have even let Rizzo fly.
Yeah. I actually didn't even. I'm kind of thinking of him as a Cub right now because he's been so relevant this season as a Yankee. Oh man, this is tough. Shortstop, I always liked prime Andrelton Simmons. I thought he was sick in Atlanta.
I would have taken him if he wasn't a Brave.
Second base, I always liked Chase Utley. I don't know if that's kind of like a meme pick, but I really liked Chase Utley as a second baseman. Even when he played for the Braves, too, I thought it was cool that he came to my home team, even though it wasn't my favorite team.
Wait, hold on. Right, Chase Utley played for the Braves? Did I miss something?
Oh, no, I'm Dan Ugla. I confused them. Two U last names. My bad.
So wait, your pick was Dan Ugla or your pick was Chase Utley?
I'm gonna go Chase Utley.
Okay.
Chase Utley.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Third base. I want somebody who can hit, but also someone who has like a rocket arm. Damn. You know what? I since I can't think of one, I'm going to take Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay. All right, that's a sick-ass infield that you just put together. So
I'm going from third to first, Ellie De La Cruz, Andrelton Simmons, Chase Utley, Paul Goldschmidt.
All right. That is quite the it's quite an infield.
And next episode, we're by far going to continue this because I really enjoyed it, and I want it to be on the prep sheet so I can think about it. Yeah. I want to do like outfield or like rotation. I think we should do like a little series. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. But let's talk about Wander Franco because it does not look good.
Can I preface this for a second?
Yeah, please.
I have not heard anything that's happened. I've only seen the memes.
Okay.
So this is news to me.
Okay. Well, if you or anybody else hasn't heard what happened, go listen to Wednesday's episode. But I'm going to continue from where we were at. So it looks like there's been a lot of progress with this investigation in the Dominican Republic. Somebody close to the situation said that the case is not as simple as it is being rumored in some media. There are many people involved, and there are more minors involved.
Oh, man.
That is not good. And another person very close to the investigation said it will be very unlikely that Wander Franco will play in the MLB again, judging by the results of the investigations that are currently being carried out, which directly commit him to the accusations against him.
So these aren't just allegations right now, or they're allegations, but they're serious.
Yeah, they seem to be very serious allegations, and this investigation is certainly not going the way of Wander Franco.
Man, that's awful news.
Yeah.
To hear.
And it also, like, you're an awful person.
100%. Yeah, and it kind of is just weird to think that, in the summer, we were, like, jumping to defend him, for tossing the ball up on that ground out. And, calling him, like, one of the kind of, like, newer, more fun infielders in baseball. And now, it's we found out about all this kind of piece of shit, stuff. So it's not good.
Yeah, that is fucking disgusting. Yes. And like I said to close out the statements on Wednesday, I just want everything to get done fairly. If this is what happened, it's what happened. He deserves his punishments. If it's not what happened, then let the man be. But like I said, it doesn't look good. So hopefully this is all resolved fairly. Excuse me.
I heard the Bay Stars have a spot.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Can I say that? Is it too soon?
No, I was making jokes about it on Wednesday. So, yeah. All right, let's get into the weekend preview.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to start off Blue Jays versus Reds.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a great series, mainly for wild card standings. The Blue Jays need to defend their spot in the wild card right now. They are third in the wild card. They're only a half game ahead of the Mariners. And then for the Reds, they are in a 3-way tie right now with the Cubs and Marlins for the third place spot in the wild card in the National League.
I like it. I'm going to throw a couple at you that I'm looking at right now. Of course, Yankees, Red Sox.
Yep.
It honestly would be a good time for the Yankees to turn shit around, against Boston. And then your team, y'all have the Giants. Or Rangers have the Brewers. Both of those are going to be really good series, I think.
Agreed. Mariners, Astros.
Mariners, Astros, Blue Jays, Reds.
Marlins,
going to be
Dodgers.
a good one as well. Yep. We got really a lot of it's a hefty weekend. Yeah.
Very strong lineup this weekend. So go out to the field, man. Get out to the parks.
Yes. And to bounce off of you, I'm just looking at Alcantara is going to pitch against the Dodgers. So that's going to be fun tomorrow night.
Yeah. And we'll see Alex Cobb versus Spencer Strider, Giants Braves on Friday. We'll see. I guess it looks like or wait, was that? Yeah. That was Friday. Looks like Sunday we'll see some more Max Fried. There's undecided for the Giants, but yeah, fantastic pitching matchups throughout the weekend, and I'm excited.
Yes, cannot wait.
We got some real good ones, and look, the playoffs, they're sneaking up. We're only a month and a half away.
Yeah, and this postseason, dude, there's going to be so many like wild card teams that are new. Like the fact alone that the Cubs and the Reds could go is just sick to me. Like I just love that. It's going to be a great season. It's going to be an awesome. Well, it already is a great season. It's going to be a great postseason, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and
I could see this being the season where we have a surprise World Series winner. I really do. I feel like with the amount of new exciting teams that are going to be there, like the Orioles look obviously really good. They're not going to just sneak into the playoffs, but I feel like it could go a way that a lot of people not think it could go.
Yeah. As of right now, ESPN's playoff predictors, percent chance of making the playoffs. Braves and Dodgers are both greater than 99.9%. The Orioles next at 98%. The Rays 96%. The Rangers 93%. Astros 91%. And the Twins a 91%. In the National League as well, the Phillies an 85%, the Brewers only a 79%, though they lead their division by 2.5, and then the Giants 64%. So, look, a whole lot could happen for sure. So, can't quite count anybody out yet.
Yep, and we're going to be here to bring the news. It's going to be so fun.
Of course. And also, just so you know, the Athletics could be eliminated as soon as next week. Yeah, and of course that means like they'd have to lose all the games, and I think a couple of the wild card teams would have to win all of their games. But nonetheless, I got a feeling it'll be happening either this week or by September. And also the Braves have a chance of clinching a playoff spot before September.
Awesome.
Which is crazy.
I'm surprised we didn't talk about Angel Hernandez.
I'd rather not.
you saw though that it was like 2 days ago that he lost his appeal again.
Yeah.
God, I can't fucking stand that guy, bro.
Yeah.
Not only is he like, he's not like Joe West, right? Where Joe West, I feel like he played the part.
Yes.
Angel Hernandez is genuinely awful, and then wants to blame it on other people for not getting. I think a while ago it was postseason games that he wasn't getting chosen for. I really don't know anything about this new allegation or the new new lawsuit that he brought against the MLB, but like he just continues to like not only make the MLB look bad, but make himself look like even more of just a bitch.
Yeah, no, he
So,
is just continuing to look like more and more of a villain.
yeah, 100%.
But that's it for the MLB. Before we get into the NFC West preview, I want to bring up the Michael Orr situation.
Okay.
It seems that the Tui family intends to end their conservatorship for Michael Orr, and that the records show that Orr did sign the conservatorship papers in 2004, 3 months after his 18th birthday. And experts say that there's no basis for this conservatorship to exist. This whole situation's weird. Once again, if you haven't heard the whole story, go back to Wednesday's episode. Me and Colin went pretty in-depth on it. And yeah, so it looks like a lot of this is being resolved, which is great for Michael Orr because what they did to him is extremely unfair. And then also, Adam Schefter went off about Mike Shanahan not making the Hall of Fame.
Wow. Okay, Shefty.
Yeah, he said, I think it's a bunch of BS. Mike Shanahan is a Hall of Famer yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's ridiculous. Who made these 50 people the voices of God and the deciders of fate? Like, who comes up with these stupid rules?
Wow. Okay,
So-
Shefty, but I didn't realize that he was up for Hall of Fame. I've always loved Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Always thought he was a great coach.
Yeah, he is up for the Hall of Fame. Didn't make it this year. And Shefty also said, these are mistakes. Mike Shanahan is a Hall of Famer. He's just not in the Hall of Fame. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He should have been in before. He's going to get in, but let's just make him wait for 2024 until the judges of the game, the arbiters of the truth, get to issue that pass to go to the Hall. He said, like, okay, give me a break.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna hop on the back of Shefty here, and I'm just gonna drop some stats here, some Wikipedia stats off the fly.
Love it.
Regular season record. He's 170 to 138, so that is obviously above 500. His postseason record, this is as a head coach, is 8-6. So that alone is pretty good. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 1 time as an assistant coach. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on his coaching tree.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
No.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
he's had guys under him like Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Anthony Lynn, Gary Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski, I think I already said Sean McVay, but Zachary Taylor, Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, Mike LaFleur, Arthur Smith, Nathaniel Hackett. Like, literally cemented guys in this league have come from underneath Mike Shanahan or the coaches that he had underneath him. Like, it is insane.
Yeah, like that Broncos team, that little like decent, sometimes okay Broncos team that had that dude named John Elway on it. Mike Shanahan was the head coach.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah. And that what, like mid 2000s, early 2010s Redskins team that he coached.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I totally forgot. Like he if RG3 never got hurt,
Oh my God.
just saying.
Yeah.
Saying.
Dude, Kyle Shanahan was on that staff. Mike McDaniel, I think, was like a wide receivers coach. Matt LaFleur was on that staff. Sean McVay was on that staff. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, it is. But speaking of Shanahan, let's get into these NFC West preview.
Let's do it.
We start with the standings. I'll go ahead and say mine. I've got 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Same thing.
I genuinely don't think it could be anything else.
Yeah, and to kind of bounce off of that, I don't really even have a dark horse for this division. I think you could make a case for the Seahawks, if things go wrong in San Francisco. The Seahawks only got better last year. I think that they'll be a lot more consistent. If that'll push them to dark horse to win the division, probably not. But the Seahawks, I think, are going to be a lot better than what they were last season. And I think a good case scenario, they could actually genuinely rival the 49ers come like week, I don't know, 14, 15.
Yeah,
That's like the closest I could see.
I love that we're on the same wavelength here because I was thinking the same thing with the dark horse. It's like I don't think anybody's going to beat the 49ers. If it does happen, it's going to be the Seahawks.
Yeah, and honestly, with how the Seahawks were last season and how much fun we had, covering Geno Smith and pretty much like their whole like makeup of their team, I would love to see it. I would love to see them blow everybody away.
Yeah, it'd be great. And of course, the Rams. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I don't think they'll be worse than the Cardinals.
No, so the Rams are a weird one. And I'll just go ahead and say it now. One of my surprise players is actually Matthew Stafford. I think he's going to have a comeback year. He'll be healthy. And who knows, like a team with a healthy Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp on it, I think could be above 500. Definitely better than what they were last year.
Yeah.
So maybe the Rams could kind of shake things up. But then again, they were like awful last season. So
yeah, even with the guys healthy, they weren't good.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, let's get into these MVP nominees for the division. It's weird because typically we'd start off with the great quarterbacks in this division. I don't think there really is going to be one this season. Yeah, Brock Purdy's going to do his thing, so he could make a case for this. The same for Matt Stafford. He can make a case. Honestly, Geno Smith is probably your best option here as a quarterback.
Yeah, which is so weird to say, but
yeah.
I'm once again, as we have been so far, I'm right there with you.
Okay, well, I compiled my MVP nominees just by team. So I thought of a team, started there. So I started with the 49ers. I've got Christian McCaffrey is kind of my overall favorite. And then Deebo Samuel, who I think is going to have a much better season this year than Nick Bosa and Fred Warner from that defense.
Gotcha. I have everybody that you had except for Deebo.
Okay.
Yep. For the Rams, I had Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald.
Yep. Me too.
And the Seahawks, I didn't have any from the Cardinals. The Seahawks, I still put DK Metcalf on there. I think a more settled in Geno with Jackson Smith and Jigba and still Tyler Lockett. It amazes me that he's still playing at the level that he's been able to play at. But I think DK Metcalf could have a very, very good season next year. Definitely better than last season.
Yeah, my two from the Seahawks are Geno and Kenneth Walker.
I love the Kenneth Walker take.
Yeah, I think, yes, there's going to be a lot of targets going to the wide receivers because they have such a great wide receiver room. But Kenneth Walker, if he plays as efficient as he did last year, and obviously if he doesn't get hurt there at the end, he's going to have a great season. Yeah,
exactly. And maybe, this kind of helps his case. Maybe it doesn't. But the Seahawks actually kind of overhauled their running backs minus Kenneth Walker. They took two in the draft. Let me see. I got to find.
It's Zach Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh.
Exactly. I knew the UGA guy, but I couldn't remember the second guy's name. But I think overall for the Seahawks, they really had an awesome offseason offensively. It's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I really like what they did this offseason. So let's go ahead and get into the Defensive Player of the Year nominees because I've got two from the Seahawks. I've got four from the 49ers, of course. And then I've got a Ram and a Cardinal.
Okay.
So
for the
49ers, I've got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Javon Hargrave, and Talanoa Hufanga.
I like it. I put Hufanga on my list as well, but I only had Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. I think Javon Hargrave, as the way that he played with the Steelers and the way that he was with Philly, I think he's just really, really good at stats that wouldn't get you a Defensive Player of the Year. So that's why I didn't put him on there.
All right.
Yep.
And then Seahawks, I've got Devin Witherspoon, the rookie, and, of course, Tariq Woolen, who is now going by Reek, R-I-Q.
Okay, well...
Reek Woolen.
I agree with Reek. I had Reek. I don't think Devin Weatherspoon. I think he's going to be a little bit of a project.
Okay.
Number one. So,
And then I've got Aaron Donald because he's Aaron Donald.
me too. Yep.
And then for the Cardinals, Budda Baker, just because I still believe in him and he's just a fantastic player.
Same. Yeah, Budda Baker, put him on the list. Despite, kind of being hurt last season, not really having the best season on top of being hurt, but just easily one of my favorite non-Steelers players by far, and a very, very exciting talent. I could still see him getting a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I will say, when I was looking at like the Rams and Cardinals defenses to see if there was anybody else I liked, I was shocked by how bad these defenses are.
Oh, I know, especially the Rams minus Aaron Donald.
Yeah, like I guess your next best is like Byron Young at linebacker.
I'm gonna throw this one at you. Bobby Wagner is back with his old team.
That's true.
I didn't put him on my list either, but I feel like there's just too many question marks for him. And I know that's weird, because Bobby Wagner has played pretty much the same his entire career. So, you know what? Maybe, I'll throw him in my Defensive Player of the Year, too. I like Bobby Wagner a lot. And with him going back to his old team, and his old team's actually kind of like rebuilt, I think he could have probably one of his best seasons.
All right.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's talk rookies. Offense or defense. I've got Devin Witherspoon. Just I think he's gonna have a great year, so had to put him there.
Yep. That Zach Charbonnet guy, the running back out of UCLA, NFL kind of moving to the two-back system. Don't get me wrong. Love Kenneth Walker. He loved my fantasy team last season. I hope to see, Kenny and Zach getting touches because I loved both of them in college.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, I didn't really know from college, but Kenny McIntosh, obviously being a UGA kid, I watched him. So I'm hoping that a lot of those Seahawks running backs can get touches as well, both of the new rookies.
Yeah. Also Jackson Smith and Jigba, of course.
Of course, yep.
And then, so the Rams and 49ers don't, they really don't have many rookies.
I actually have a couple.
Okay.
To drop on you. Warren McClendon got drafted to the Rams.
Yeah.
He's I think like an outside lineman out of UGA, but he can play interior as well. I think with the Rams offensive line, I think he could actually work his way in there.
All right.
And make some differences there. Let's see who else I have. Paris Johnson. He's going to be a big guy, I think, for the Cardinals. The tackle out of Ohio State that you and I talked a lot about on our draft stuff. I think he'll be good. And then I have a sleeper, and you're going to like this take. But Jake Moody, the kicker from Michigan, drafted to the 49ers in the second round.
Third,
People are calling him – oh, third, okay. People are calling him like a secret weapon.
Yeah.
So I think the 49ers may have gotten a really good kicker.
Yes. The preseason – not off to a hot start for him.
No, not at all.
But I do agree with that one. But I didn't put him in the Rookie of the Year. I had him in the surprise players. Okay. My last Rookie of the Year one, though, B.J. Ojulari for the Cardinals.
Had him as well.
Rookie out of LSU.
Like that.
My surprise players, though, I had Jake Moody and Paris Johnson. I only put him here just because, like, his team's going to suck. And he's an offensive lineman, so it's hard to put him in, like, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that the segment was Rookie of the Year. I was just highlighting the rookies that I liked.
Yeah.
My bad. But, I agree with you there. I have a couple surprise players, actually. It looks like more than you.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got two more.
So, although the team will be bad, I think Hollywood Brown could make a huge jump. Of course, he won't have D-Hop anymore, but I think he's at the point where I don't know. Hollywood Brown's a weird case because I think he's at the point where he could be wide receiver one, but I also could see him having like kind of a similar season to what he had last season. But I'm hoping he'll take that next step. Cam Akers is on my list too. It feels like he's been hurt the entire time he's been in the NFL. So who knows? Maybe a healthy Cam Akers with a healthy Matthew Stafford and a healthy Cooper Kupp. Maybe. Who knows? Talanoa Hufanga, I put him on this as well because I just think he'll be that much better. He was good last season, but I think he'll be even better this season, maybe even win a Super Bowl or Defensive Player of the Year. Who knows? And then the 49ers have their wide receiver 3. I think he's a rookie, or maybe he played last season, but that Jahan Johnson guy.
Yeah.
I think he could also make some waves in the NFL under Brock Purdy and under that super efficient offense. So
Agreed.
those were my surprise players.
Mine, I've got Boye Mafe, weak side linebacker, so like outside linebacker. For the Seahawks, I loved what he did in the preseason. This first game was great. Didn't really get too much playing time last year. Only, I think, accumulated like 8 tackles. But the guy's a force, man. 6'4", 261. He's big, and he is fast as well. And, I think he's going to be great. Going into his second year, his usage is going to go way up. He's going to be starting. So, yeah, look out for Boye Mafe. And then for the 49ers, Charvarius Ward. He's already a great player. I think he's going to crack into that top 10 corners in the league conversation.
Like it. We'll have to see if he does whenever we do our position rankings again.
Yeah, at the end of the season, we'll see. But yeah, I really like what Charvarius Ward has. I think right now he's like just outside of that top 10.
Like a top 20, top 15 solid.
Yeah.
Corner.
Yeah, I see him as like top 15 for sure. But yeah, I think he's going to break into that top 10, maybe push the top 5 with Jalen Ramsey out.
Yeah, who knows?
But overall thoughts for this division, though, I think, once again, a great division. Not as much for the battle to win the division, but more just 2 of these teams are going to play great football.
Yeah, exactly. 2 of these teams are probably going to be playoff teams. And I mean,
yeah.
The other 2 teams, like the Rams, are a weird case because they were shit last season, but they have a lot of cool players on their team that we can highlight, like Aaron Donald and Stafford and Kupp. And the Cardinals, I feel like they just brought in a lot of like exciting new talent, but it's going to be a minute before they're going to be able to get that all together. I think I could honestly see the Cardinals being the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I have a feeling they will be. I think they're the favorite for the first overall draft pick next year. Yep. So, we'll see how that goes. I got a feeling they're going to be a 1 or 2 win team. Yeah,
I mean, Colt McCoy's week 1 starter, never something you want to see unless it's college in the early 2000s. So
that's very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that does it. So right now, the way that the schedule is preceding us, next week we will do the NFC South, and then we will do the NFC North, and then on the 7th, which is when we record it, will be the first game of the season, which I don't think we might record late enough where we get to talk about it. Not too sure yet. But we will do not only the NFC Beast preview, but also our NFL season awards predictions. So you're going to get a little NFL double feature from the boys on the 7th.
Dude, the predictions is like one of my favorite things to do, and I think that's why I like this series so much. But the NFC Beast, that one could take us a minute to get through, but I could not be more excited.
It might,
honestly.
Look forward to it. NFL double feature. You'll hear it on September 8th. But for now, let's head across the pond. We got a whole different type of football to talk about.
Here we go.
Premier League. Week 2, and we've got some good matchups, a lot of bad ones. We already had a game postponed. That one we already kind of knew about. Luton Town was supposed to host Burnley this week, but Luton Town stadium renovations aren't quite done, so they are delaying it and pushing that match back. So no Luton Town this week, but we started off with my Magpies. They head to Manchester, to Etihad Stadium, to face Man City. But this Man City is going to look a little different because there will be no Kevin De Bruyne until December.
Big injury.
Yeah, it's like that's a season changer.
It just might be, especially like, thinking of like all the center mid talent that they, lost in the offseason. Of course, they brought in guys like Mateo Kovacic, who in their last game, oh my God, who did they play? They played Burnley. That's right. Kovacic obviously came on in that game, and he filled in exactly like how I thought he would. He had a decent game. So maybe Kovacic can hold it down, but even with my bias towards the Chelsea Kovacic, nobody in the entire world, Grayson, compares to KDB. And that's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, nobody compares at all.
He's unreplaceable, really.
Yeah, and then Bernardo Silva is also doubtful. Looks like he's just sick, but that could just be a cover-up for them sending him off to Spain. And then on Newcastle's side, Joe Willock appears to be doubtful with a hamstring injury, but that's really their only key inactive. But in general, I like the way these two teams match up. I hope that doesn't sound biased, but you've got two offenses that have started off the season just absolutely firing. And you've got Manchester City's attack facing Newcastle's very strong physical defense. And then you'll have Newcastle's attack that obviously put up a ton of goals. And they'll be facing Man City's defense, which is a much more tactical and technically strong defense than what most Premier League teams are going to show off.
Well, and on top of that, like, don't get me wrong. And now that you have a Premier League team, as much as I would love to take jabs at you, I really can't. Like, this Newcastle team is just it's just so much fun. Like, the way that they lined up against Aston Villa, and I don't want to take your thunder here, but like, the front three of Anthony Gordon, who I watched in the preseason game versus Chelsea, he was absolutely electric, by the way. Alexander Isak, the young striker from Sweden, scoring 2 goals, and one of them was absolutely a ridiculous goal, by the way. And then Miguel Almiron, Atlanta's favorite, the sweetheart of Georgia. Right. And then your midfield is Tonale, Guimaraes, and Joe Ellington. That alone is sick for you guys. Like, I'm getting so hyped up talking about like a team that's not even like my favorite team, but like, I need you to understand, Grayson. I think Newcastle, after their first game, and I know we're only 1 game in, could maybe even finish top 3.
We'll see.
Because if their defense can hold up like it did last season, and they line up with that front 6 that I just mentioned, that midfield and attacking 6, that's going to be tough if they're all on their game.
My biggest concern is the Champions League. I think that kind of could throw some things off. Kind of divert their attention. Maybe they'll be a little more focused on doing well in the Champions League than they probably should be. And that could give some negative effects to this Premier League lineup. But for now, like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with how they lined up last week, but also the bench. Callum Wilson came off the bench in the 68th minute. He put up a goal. Harvey Barnes in his debut. Oh my God, a goal and an assist. He came in the 68th as well. And Jacob Murphy came in the 86th minute and picked up an assist. Like, these guys look fantastic. Sandro Tonali's goal was great.
Yeah. I'm
on top of the world right now.
Yeah, what a time to be a Magpie. And even I'm excited to see Valentino Livramento.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce his name? Yeah, I'm excited to see him get playing time as well. He was on the bench versus Aston Villa, but yeah, it's just that's the one thing that I think will hurt Newcastle, and it's something that I think hurt Leicester City when they also made the Champions League after winning the league, is the depth that instilled Champions League teams are going to have versus the teams that are new to the Champions League, like Newcastle. I think that is the only place I could see Newcastle struggling, is how they would how they would balance their depth as far as, playing a Wednesday game and then having the Premier League on the weekend. That is where I think they could get hurt, but, obviously we don't have a sample size to go off of yet. So that's where I could see Newcastle failing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that you kind of segue me into this, where I think that's what's going to happen to Manchester City this week. They're coming off of a UEFA Super Cup match that went deep into the game, into penalties, and they played a lot of their Premier League starters. This is a very Kevin De Bruyne-less squad that they put out there. They have Haaland up front, Palmer on the right, Foden at cam, and then Grealish on the left, and you have Kovacic and Rodri in holding midfield, and then Vardiol, Ake, Akanji, Walker is the backline, and then Ederson in goal. Yeah, maybe Vardiol and Ake aren't going to play in the squad at the same time a lot, especially because in the Prem they typically run that 3-back formation and allow John Stones to play up into the midfield, and you'd have Ruben Dias in that back with Kyle Walker and either Ake or Vardiol, because they play that position of left center back in a 3-back formation very well, but they play it a little bit differently. So I don't know if this is exactly how they line up, but at least that attacking four of Grealish, Foden, Palmer, and Haaland, very similar to how I see them lining up in the Prem. And I think that is going to kind of affect them. If they're throwing out lineups like this throughout the Champions League, I think that's going to hurt them in the Prem, and I think that's what's going to happen this week. But my prediction is a 2-2 draw, because Haaland is always good for 1 or 2.
Yeah, I like that take. It's really hard for me to want to willfully say that Newcastle could beat Manchester City, but I think it's 100% possibility. You know, I feel like Manchester City, despite the win against Sevilla, it was still a tough win for them, playing like pretty much their full squad. Of course, they managed to walk all over Burnley with the red card as well and the 3-0. Oh, man, this is going to be tough. I think Newcastle could surprise a lot of people. I'm going 2-1 Newcastle.
All right. I love to hear it.
Because, Haaland's good, but I'm going to respect Newcastle's defense over Haaland this time. I truly am. I think Newcastle are playing more complete than City right now. And I know it's only been 2 games for City, but Newcastle just looked better.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, I like to hear it. I don't want to get too high, because I don't want my expectations to be too through the roof. But if you want to say it, I'm totally down for it. Yeah, but our next match we'll talk about, Tottenham versus Manchester United at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Quite a few inactives here for both sides. It looks like Bentancur, Lloris, Brian Heel, and a few other guys are going to be out for Tottenham. And then for Manchester United, it looks like Rasmus Højlund is going to be out with a back injury until late August. And that's kind of their main inactive here. But I don't know. The way that we saw Manchester United line up last week without Højlund in the lineup, I still kind of like.
Yeah, I'm looking at their lineup versus Wolves here. It was Rashford up top, Garnacho on the left, Mount center mid, Bruno Fernandes the other center mid, Antony on the right. Manchester United lined up really well. Andre Onana looks really good for Manchester United, the new goalie, and another new player, James Maddison, had a stellar debut in the 2-2 draw versus Brentford. He was, I thought, by far their best player, easily.
Agreed. And Harry Kane is gone, so
Richarlison, baby.
Yeah.
Who didn't score in the 2-2 draw versus Brentford, played the whole time.
What a fucking surprise.
Dude, Tottenham are finished. Tottenham obviously are still going to have a good team, but Heung-Min's son even got subbed out too. He actually captained the team versus Brentford, which I like to see. I'm sorry, Grayson, but Kulusevski and Heung-Min's son as their wingers, I don't know if I like Perisic getting benched, and I don't know if I would bench Kulusevski. That's all I'm going to say. And that's probably the hottest take of the episode so far.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So it's I could easily see Tottenham getting absolutely thrashed by United.
Yeah, 2-2 versus this Brentford lineup. Not a good look. Not at all.
No. Yum soda.
But shut the fuck up. But shout out the defenders for Tottenham for carrying.
Both the goals.
Yeah,
coming
both
from a
the
right back and a
goals.
center back.
Very interesting. But a great debut for Mickey Van de Ven, the transfer from Wolfsburg.
Yeah. And you know what? As much as I hate Tottenham and I love the season that they're about to have, because I'm already predicting they're going to be shit, but I think it's about time for them to rebuild. Losing Harry Kane, obviously boyhood player who spent 20 plus years there, it's going to suck for Tottenham. But you know what? It may be what the team needs because they're still not winning trophies. So
Yeah.
I almost, in a way, kind of like the path they're going down. I think James Madison is a great transfer. And as you said, Mickey Van de Ven looks to have a good day, or he looked to have a good debut. So hopefully he can continue that as well. And like when their injuries, start coming back, I think they're a 7th place team.
Yeah, agreed.
Realistically. So
yeah. They'd have to have quite the winter transfer window for me to change my mind on how average they're going to be this season.
Of course, and but on the United side, I have an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Mason Mount finished the game with a 6.7, or at least that's how my scale that I'm using has him rated. Does Mason Mount need to start over Christian Eriksen?
Because
I
maybe.
don't know. Like, I know that you invested a lot in Mason Mount, so obviously he would start the first couple games, but could you see Mason Mount, hitting the bench from United, like as a regular bench player? Because
I could definitely see it just because of the playmaking effect that Christian Eriksen has. Because, especially with Højlund out, you force Rashford up the field at striker. And Rashford does have playmaking ability on the left. For sure.
Does.
And you take that out, and yes, Alejandro Garnacho, great playmaker. Don't get me wrong. I don't see him naturally playing on the left, and I think that kind of affected him in this one. He didn't have a great match either. So, I don't know. Maybe even trying out Mount on the left for now.
And Eriksen in the middle?
Yeah. And take fucking Antony out of the lineup.
Why?
I know he had a decent game. I don't think he's that good.
Okay. That's fair. I think a lot of people are 50-50 on Antony, so I don't think you're necessarily in the minority in saying that.
Yeah. I'm glad because I'm not the biggest fan. But some interesting news came out of their Manchester United Wolves matchup last week. 3 of the referees associated? I think one of the assistant refs and like 2 of the people involved with VAR, all 3 of them aren't reffing Premier League games this weekend.
Interesting.
Yeah. After that decision, I believe of no penalty for Onana on that pretty vicious grab.
God, I would hate to get laid out by Andre Onana, man. That's a middle linebacker out there.
Yeah, dude. He is scary.
Yeah, he's what a fantastic pickup. Like I honestly, like, depending on how Rasmus Højlund fits in and how they figure out their like center mids and wingers, Manchester United could be a top 3 team in the Prem.
Agreed.
They look really good, and I mean, even this lineup on paper, it's a tough lineup to beat, man.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think they go down this week. I think they take a 3-0 victory over Spurs.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I think Spurs will get 1.
Okay.
At least 1. Yeah.
All right, and then we go to your side. Down in London. West Ham versus... Well, I guess we stay in London because we were just talking about the Spurs match. But West Ham versus Chelsea. What are your first thoughts with this one?
I'm actually going to go to the West Ham side first because there's an interesting story out of them, and it's in West Ham's midfield. And I have a question for you, Grace.
Yeah.
So James Ward-Prowse and Edison Alvarez, will we see them versus Chelsea? Because we didn't see them in the debut.
I did see Edson Alvarez practicing, so I have a feeling we'll probably see him in the lineup. I'd certainly hope to see Edson in the lineup. I don't know about James still. I know that the Lucas Paqueta transfer is kind of in limbo, so I don't know if we see him either, which would probably force James Ward-Prowse into the lineup. But yeah, I don't know. There's still the looming effects of the transfer window on this West Ham lineup right now.
Yes. Yep. On the Chelsea side, though, damn that Liverpool game.
Yeah.
That was it was so entertaining. But the 1-1 draw, man, I wasn't really satisfied. I was satisfied in the sense that, I'm understanding that this Chelsea team is completely like, there's so many new faces, there's so many new moving pieces, but one good side is that everybody seems to be happy with each other. Like, it's just a great vibe in the Chelsea camp as of now. Liverpool, though, man, and we're going to talk about it later, but like, absolutely no holding midfielders for Liverpool. Their midfield, They lined up with Gakpo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, all of which are like, you couldn't be more attacking minded. Players. And I'm not saying that any of these guys can't play defense. Like, I'm sure McAllister, like, has a good work rate and, can run around a lot. But like, besides their 4 defenders, Liverpool has nobody that can defend. And that's kind of what we saw in the Chelsea game. And I wish we would have capitalized on it. But like, when Chelsea had the ball in possession against Liverpool, where kind of it's like center mids on center mids, and it's like Chelsea passing the ball around, Liverpool looked horrible. I'm not going to lie. And, there was a lot of controversy with Mohamed Salah getting subbed off and, being very visibly pissed off at Jurgen Klopp. And I know there were a lot of stories coming out of that as well. So, but yeah, Chelsea West Ham. I'm super, super excited for this game. Our first London rivalry of the season. And yeah, I think West Ham have a lot of exciting things going on, and Chelsea obviously have a lot of exciting things going on. Chelsea's still buying players.
Yeah.
So it honestly seems like as the season is picked up, Chelsea have picked up in the transfer window, which is I completely did not expect this at all. But I'm happy with it though, man. I'm seriously excited for what Chelsea has going on.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I love what they have. I love what they're still doing. And, we'll talk about some of these moves later, but Moises Caicedo, likely doubtful in this one. Do you think we see Romeo Lavia?
Potentially.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if that deal is, like, officially done. Like, is he fully, like, done and dusted, like, in the lineup?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking no.
Okay.
But who knows, man? He might get subbed on late if it ends up going through, or we might end up seeing none of them. So
yeah,
I love the way that Chelsea lined up against Liverpool. Of course, Robert Sanchez in goal looked pretty solid, as I knew that he would. Axel, oh man, I heard them say his name. Is it Disasi?
I believe so.
Obviously, he was our 1 goal. He scored on his debut at Stamford Bridge, which was just so sick to see the celebrations, man. It's just so exciting to see a happy Stamford Bridge, man. But yeah, the 3-back of Disasi, Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill worked so well. Chilwell and Reece James were the wing-back. Conor Gallagher and Enzo Fernandez. Conor Gallagher had a challenge on Mohamed Salah where if he messed up or Mohamed Salah could have just blown past him, Conor Gallagher was the last player and made a Maldini-esque slide tackle on him. And it just goes to show, and I texted you afterwards and I was like, you hit the nail on the head with Conor Gallagher. He is literally playing like exactly how you said he would, Grayson. He's playing hungry. He's playing like his job is not secure, which it isn't. And I love that. And I'm so glad that we kept him.
Yeah. I am interested to get your take on this because you said you love how they lined up. Once some of these injured guys start coming back in, because a lot of the guys like that are out right now or the guys that are kind of still processing their transfers, how does this lineup change? Because obviously like Sterling isn't really a striker, and I doubt he actually played it that way in the game. I didn't get to watch. But didn't have a great game.
No.
And I believe, was he subbed off for Mudryk, or did he get subbed off for somebody else?
He was subbed off for Mudryk.
Okay. And but I do like kind of stacking the midfield and then having Chilwell and James play wing back because them two both play that so well. But I think there will be a ton of structural changes as some of these injured players come back.
Well, 100%. Chukwuemeka is obviously one of the more younger players on this team. I think it's cool that he's starting. Not a player that I really want to be starting, though. A player that I'd like to see come off the bench, I think. I hope Nkunku comes and replaces either Chukwuemeka or Raheem Sterling. But honestly, if it were down to me, Grayson, Raheem Sterling wouldn't be on this team anymore.
Yeah.
I actually physically can't stand him. He's one of those players that he's one of the bigger names on this team, obviously, since he's played for every big team in the Premier League except for Manchester United, which is just even more strange in itself. But yeah, Raheem Sterling, I'm completely done with him, which is why I was so excited that we might get Elise from Crystal Palace, but then he put our dick back in our pants, as I'll say, with that one by signing the extension. So Raheem Sterling is the one player that I genuinely want to get replaced here. And then Chukwuemeka, personally, I just don't think he's good enough yet.
Okay.
That'd be the only reason that I'd bench him. So
yeah. Do you see any changes to this defense coming? I know some guys are out, like Trevoh Chalobah and Wesley Fofana, who's going to be out for the entire season. But how do you feel about Colwill, Silva, and Disasi?
This could have been probably in the stake my claim, but I think to include Ben Chilwell and Reece James in the defense, Chelsea probably have the best defense in the league.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it'll be Newcastle and Chelsea that will look the best defensively, and I hope none of the personnel changes, which is really sad because I like Fofana, and I like some of the other guys we brought in, like Ugochukwu. He was one of the new players who he subbed out Chilwell in the 90th minute. Malo Gusto is a wonderful replacement off the bench for Reece James. Ian Maatsen, a youth player that I have been seeing on FIFA as a 60 overall for years now, is finally getting his opportunities. He looks exciting. I know he plays a left back, left wing back kind of role. So like Ian Maatsen as well. So yeah, absolutely. To answer your question, literally nothing I would change to this defense.
All right, so I got two more questions for you. First, how do you feel about Robert Sanchez?
Want Kepa.
Yeah.
I think that was the dumbest thing that Chelsea could have done. And it came to a surprise. I saw it on my feed and I was like, not only do we not get to watch potentially De Gea go back and play at Real Madrid, I lost a goalie who has come a long way with Chelsea. And I know I've talked about it on the podcast, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But, from denying the sub and staying with the team, it just was so perfect that Kepa would be our starting goalie to come for, years. But, I guess Chelsea wanted to go a different direction. I was super, super disappointed about that. But Robert Sanchez, though, I think he'll be great.
Okay. And then my next thing, first impressions on Poch.
Love him. Even at Tottenham, I always kind of felt like he did very well with the young players, which is, I think, what Chelsea need. I love the way he lined us up. I love the way that our attack looks. We're exciting. We look like we can score goals, which honestly was the case last season. I thought Chelsea was still an exciting team, even though we were losing every single week or, getting draws or, whatnot. But I think Poch can win some silverware.
Okay. I like it.
I think he can.
All right. Yeah. I'm happy for Chelsea, but did we even get to a score prediction? We just went on a crazy tangent.
No, we talked that was a good conversation. But yeah, we didn't go for a score.
Okay. Well, my score prediction, I'm gonna go 1-0 Chelsea. I still don't see enough goal scoring in this lineup to say that they're really gonna show off in the attack.
Okay. I think this is the game that Chelsea submit themselves as kind of Chelsea are back. I'm going to go 2-0. And I think it'll be a dominating performance.
Yeah. And
if you can hear that knocking, that is me knocking on wood because last season was so bad, I'm not even sure.
And that is entirely fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the West Ham side, there's just, I don't know, there's not enough of a threat in this lineup.
Yeah, and I don't think West Ham. I would have liked to have seen West Ham go get a striker. Mikel Antonio, I like him a lot. I've always sort of been a fan of him. I don't think he's enough for what West Ham want to do, though.
Yeah,
I don't think Mikel Antonio is like a mid-table Prem striker. Or
agreed.
I think, basically, I think he should have been replaced in the offseason, which I think will really hurt West Ham for their offense, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. So, other matches around the league, we've got, if it'll load, we've got Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United on Friday, Fulham, Brentford, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Wolves, Brighton, Villa versus Everton, and then Monday we have Palace versus Arsenal. And then we look ahead to next week, Chelsea versus Luton Town at Stamford Bridge. And not too many good matchups other than Newcastle Liverpool. We are just front loading this schedule.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's you know what though, I like it. Newcastle are in a weird position where I think that it's time for them to prove themselves, and why not in the first couple games of the Prem. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Manchester City this week, Liverpool next week, Brighton the week after. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, we're fighting through it. But we have a solid run of absolutely fucking jack shit for the rest of September and all of October. So that's nice. But let's talk transfer news, and who else to start with but that traitor son of a bitch, Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. heading to Al-Hilal in this contract is fucking insane.
Yeah. It's just it's a big bummer move. Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate to see him go where we can't watch him.
Yeah. And so it looks like he'll be making $300 million US, which is insane. I think the transfer fee was $102 million US, and then you get into the subtleties of this contract. Like, what the fuck? It's like cars
like
and houses and workers at his home and just absolutely crazy stuff. Here's a quote: 8 cars and 3 saunas.
He has a compound over there, basically.
Yeah. He's getting a Bentley Continental GP, an Aston Martin DBX, and a Lamborghini Huracan.
It's fucking ridiculous. Top of the money he already makes, on top of the money he's going to make, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, they also found out what his favorite juices are, and the fridge will always be stocked with acai juice and guarana drinks for his home. It'll have 3 saunas, 5 full-time workers, including a cook and cleaners. The property will have 25 rooms and a swimming pool that is at least 10 meters large and 40 meters long, and a private jet.
Bro, we need to contact Neymar right now and just go ahead and rent one of those rooms for Second and Shore headquarters.
Yeah, that would be sick. I've said it before. Saudi Arabia could buy me out in a fucking second.
Yeah, like, as much as we bitch, like, we would never turn down these contracts. Yeah. I mean, shit.
And I say that, but I'm about to condemn them for their sports washing with this contract.
Yes. Yep.
They're offering him, and I'm going to pull up the exact number in the Instagram post that I believe you sent me. Let me pull that back up real quick. But look, the details are just stupid. So
actually,
let's see.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I've got it now. So he's got an 80,000 euro bonus for every Al-Hilal win, which is cool. That's fine. 500,000 euros for every post or story he puts on his social media that promotes Saudi Arabia. That's the ridiculous part of this.
That one's fishy.
Yeah, that's where it becomes a ploy.
Yep.
Where, like, look, if you play for Barcelona and they're like, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of money if whenever you promote, like, visit Barcelona. Like, and like, there's plenty of kit sponsors, like Fly Emirates and all that, where they promote it. You're promoting a country, and it's tourism, a country that has a interesting history.
Yep. That's probably a country that's probably like 300 years behind in how you should treat women.
Yes, and
So,
a country that has multiple issues with journalists, and plenty of other things. And we're not going to get into it because it's like a pretty political matter, but in general, it's so obvious what is being done here in this contract, especially. I get that they want to build this soccer league. 100%. Any country should be doing this if they have the means to do it, and they do. But when it gets into this kind of stuff, these kind of details really shows off what's happening.
Yeah.
It's right up there with the Qatari World Cup and all of this. Like, it's basically so that when you think of Saudi Arabia, you think, oh, I saw Neymar post about that place. It looks pretty cool. Oh, I saw that they have all these cool soccer players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Sadio Mane and Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante. But you don't think about horrible things that happen in that country. And like Luke said, the way that they treat women, just everything. And it's the same thing that Qatar did. When I think of Qatar, I think of the Qatari World Cup. That's it. I don't think about all the workers that died building those stadiums. I don't think about anything else like that. Just the games that I watched on TV.
Exactly. And I actually, one of the contract specifics that you didn't read that I'm reading right now, if Neymar has an off day, Grayson, and let's say he wants to go to a hotel or a restaurant, the bill is sent to the club.
Yeah.
If he does any of that on an off day, it's free.
And to think, Messi was offered much more. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is absolutely insane. And just to kind of come back to the actual, like, him signing, supposedly he only joined Al-Hilal because it was the only real offer he had on the table. Supposedly he wanted to stay in Europe, but got no real offers.
I don't know about that.
I have a hard time believing he had no offers.
Because you had Todd Bowley secretly meeting with PSG executives for Neymar.
Yeah, but I guess he didn't. Maybe he just didn't think that was a real offer.
Maybe because they weren't giving him 14 cars, it wasn't a real offer.
Where's my compound in London?
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking ridiculous. But next thing, Mason Greenwood will be reintroduced into the Manchester United team. Very weird situation. Not going to get into the details because I'm sure you already know. But it appears that the Manchester United as a whole, it was any person that has a say said to go ahead with it, which is great.
Is
so as long as this move doesn't put active players, staff, or anybody into as long as it doesn't put them in a bad situation, I think it's totally fine. I
do. I actually was watching a video of Mason Greenwood. He was like warming up. I saw it like a month ago. And, that is everything, he was cleared, right?
Yes,
like,
everything's been dropped and cleared.
So, like, that whole situation, man, like, you got to think it takes a toll on the players, especially when they didn't do it. I feel like. And I saw a video of Mason Greenwood about a month ago, like I said, warming up, and he looked super rough. And I don't know if I'm trying to make a story out of nothing. You know, I of course, when I'm warming up playing soccer, or back whenever I played soccer, and when I'm warming up, sometimes I like dejected too. You know, I get it. But Mason Greenwood just looked like when he was warming up, like he genuinely like did not care. And
Yeah.
it just was a sad sight to see. He looked awful.
Yeah.
Body language was awful. His shots were kind of like you probably could have done better for a prim player. And it was not a good sight to see. And I can only think that situation took a massive toll on not only his career, but also like his mental state.
Yeah, agreed entirely. But let's move on here to Lucas Paqueta. So it looks like his move to Manchester City has been stalled. It'd be a great time for them to get him with this Kevin De Bruyne injury. But it appears that things have been agreed upon, and maybe West Ham is having cold feet now.
Yeah, I could see that.
I really don't know what's going on. Personally, I haven't seen enough news about it just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It's like you said, it just completely it's happening, but it's like dead.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, but a couple moves that did happen. Moises Caicedo heading to Chelsea. We already kind of talked about that, as well as Romeo Lavia. So they got the guy they wanted and the guy they were going to get if they didn't get Moises Caicedo. So I guess Chelsea just gets what they want, except for Michael Olise, who rejected the move to Chelsea and signed an extension with Crystal Palace.
I mean, you know, in a way, like, fair play to him for, you know, willfully signing that extension to obviously like a much smaller team. But yeah, fair play to Olise for staying loyal. But as a Chelsea fan, like, I respect it. You know, we kind of had to be humbled. It seemed like we were getting everything we want last week, and then we got humbled this week by Olise. But yeah, what a time. Do you realize that Chelsea's midfield now, as of January of last year, Enzo Fernandez had the most long passes in the entire Premier League completed, and Moises Caicedo was like first or second in interceptions of the entire season. So Chelsea's midfield is looking like kind of pretty fucking dangerous, if you ask me.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Very, very excited. It's dangerous. It's young. And on top of that, it's players that I think are super, super excited and committed to playing for Chelsea. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, like, when you think about it, let's say, you know, come November when Nkuku's back in the lineup, you have Enzo Fernandez, Nkuku, Caicedo. You also have Lavia now. You still have Conor Gallagher, who is off to a good start. You have so many options in this midfield.
So many. And it's super versatile too. And just the fact that Romeo Lavia came out and said that he wanted to sign for Chelsea because he thought that Liverpool was like kind of like his second option, or no, Liverpool was like not necessarily going after him as much as he wanted them to, which led him to Chelsea. But I'm going to get into it right now. I'm going to take it over, taking the reins from Grayson to kind of lead the podcast. So I wanted to talk about Liverpool in this transfer window because it's a bigger discussion that I saw on Sky Sports. Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher talked about it, and I'm just kind of going to go through the situation. So Liverpool's director, he goes by, is it George? Can you help me out here, Grace?
I'm gonna assume it's George Schmadka.
Okay, there's like a 3. They call him like JSG or something like that. He has a nickname. But anyway, he's their director. The directors, I just learned, is also the ones who go after like transfers and stuff. So this is all him. They lost both holding midfielders, Fabinho and Hendo, to Saudi teams, which is weird because with Liverpool, and this is a point that Gary Neville brought up, Liverpool are super, super, super good at replacing players. Like, they had Henderson before Gerrard kind of thing. Well, Liverpool didn't really bring in a replacement before losing these guys. So their first target was Lavia from Southampton. Liverpool were originally going to stop at 50 million euros for this kid, but they ended up bidding 60. Lavia chooses Chelsea over Liverpool because he felt like he was a second choice to Moises Caicedo. So Liverpool kind of they made that bid and they said that they were going to stop at 50, and then they kind of started going for Caicedo. So Lavia just said like, hey, like if you guys like aren't going to go through with me, then I want to go to Chelsea. So Liverpool start bidding for Moises Caicedo. Chelsea enter the race for Caicedo, beat out Liverpool, making him the highest Prem transfer fee at 133 million euros, and then sign Lavia for like 60. I mean, Liverpool could not have bottled this even more. And now they're going to be scrambling. You know, I feel like it's always kind of bad to replace like players like Fabinho and Hendo in August. Like that should have been something that, you know, like Liverpool normally do, should have been something that was done before. And I wanted to bring this up because I think it's a very interesting conversation to have about one of the, you know, bigger teams in the Premier League. So, like, Grayson, what do you think about all this? Like, are Liverpool like in serious trouble right now? Because I mean, we saw the way that they played against Chelsea, and these are two of the players that would have been in that holding midfield area that I was highlighting earlier. And Liverpool were getting ran all over on. You know, not to say that their center mids aren't good. It's just that they're not holding center mids. They're not guys that can defend either. So what do you think about Liverpool in this whole situation?
Well, I think the fact that Fabinho and Hendo have been gone for like what, almost a month?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the entire transfer window.
Yeah, they had so much time to go out. And yes, I get it. They were interested in Caicedo and Lavia. But you still should have gotten something. Because, like, they don't even have real bench options as holding midfielders.
No, not at all.
Like, midfield-wise, yes, Curtis Jones is on your bench, but he's certainly not a holding midfielder. And what, like...
Harvey Elliott could maybe play there?
Yeah. But I'm not even confident in that. And Thiago is out. He doesn't even really play that position. So it's super weird that they didn't go out and just at least get a surefire guy. I think they certainly should have been in on Edson Alvarez.
Yes.
I think they certainly should have rivaled West Ham for that move. I think
Kudus from Ajax, who looks like he's going to sign for West Ham.
But he's more of a winger. But
that's just I keep saying he's holding midfield.
Yeah.
Fuck, my bad. Go ahead.
But like, there's a bunch of guys that you could have at least tried, and it didn't seem like they did. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of them not being willing to go out and look.
Yeah, and it's strange because what Carragher and Neville brought up is it's not even the owners. Like, the owners were completely fine for bidding, like, you know, they were fine with matching Chelsea or outbidding Chelsea for Caicedo and Lavia. But the sporting director that I mentioned, he was the one that, you know, kind of stalled it, which, you know, that stall ended up, you know, leaving Liverpool with no holding midfielders because Lavia kind of took offense to it. And I don't really blame him. Liverpool have sold all these players in holding midfield. You would think that they would have a lot of money to splash cash on a massive holding midfielder, but they just didn't. And now they're going to be scrambling, you know, while they're playing games, and, you know, they don't have much time. So I really think that Liverpool may have fucked themselves here. Not to say that I don't think Liverpool's going to be a good team, but they literally lack an entire position. No matter how good their starting 11 is, right now, they don't have anybody that can play there.
Yeah, and like they don't have the option of like a center back that can kind of play that position. Like literally their only chance is converting Trent into a holding midfielder.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's literally their only shot unless they somehow make a miracle happen in the next 2 weeks before this window closes.
Exactly. But yeah, like I just I hope I did a good job taking
over
the
podcast
you
did.
There for a second.
And
appreciate that.
I want to just kind of reiterate what you said, in that Liverpool needed to step up. All this entire transfer window, they needed to step up. Their finish last year was not good. Like, plain and simple, was not Liverpool. It's not the Liverpool that we've seen in past years, and it needs something needed to change. And
it hasn't.
They make 2 moves on 2 guys that are attacking midfielders. And that's really it. If you look at the sum of everything that they did this offseason, it was 2 very early in the transfer window. Alexis McAllister was like done and dusted a day into the transfer window opening. And Dominic Szoboszlai was about 2 weeks in. Like, it took no time for them to make those moves, and they went entirely dormant after that.
And not only that, this is something that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about, but like in the Premier League especially, where you have a lot of teams that are going to look at the same guy, and these teams have a lot of money. You don't want to be losing to bidding wars, especially to rivals like Chelsea. And not only did you lose like a bidding war to Chelsea, you lost the one position you need not once but twice.
Yeah,
to a team that is your rival. And as a Chelsea fan, I think this kind of shit just makes me so happy. I love this shit. But for Liverpool, as a Liverpool fan, I couldn't be more disappointed in my team, and I hope that they can bring in somebody soon.
Yeah, and like what happened to showing interest in Leon Goretzka? That was talked about. Right now, their only option, at least I've seen, is that they're showing interest in Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah, which is kind of like a wild card there. I love Ryan Gravenberch. I've actually been kind of keeping up with him for the past couple of years. Can he play a starting 11 prim holding midfield role? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can do that yet.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'd have to see him do it.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I do as well. But if you're ready to, then we'll move on.
Let's go ahead. We got a lot more transfer stuff to talk about.
So we'll get here. Alexander Mitrovic is headed to Al-Hilal.
Neymar.
Yeah. He's not the only one joining him, but we'll get to that. I also want to bring this up. It kind of goes along the lines of this Liverpool stuff. Just kind of prem-wide over the last 5 years, Brighton is the only team with a positive net spending, and it is crazy. They have made back a total of 116.21 million euros on the transfer market. Even Luton Town is in the negatives with 11.28.
Gotcha.
And Liverpool is certainly up there. Their spending in prior years has been major. Guys like Darwin Núñez, Diego Jota, like those kind of moves, cost as well as Gakpo. These were big moves, all attacking. That's all they've cared about, but that's all they've been good at.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I mean, I feel like they haven't really gone for obviously a goalie or like a center back, because I feel like their defense and goalie is pretty set in stone, and they kind of just like to hide behind the curtain of, oh, we have Virgil van Dijk, which, I mean, I'm not dogging on them for that. I think it's worked for them, quite well the entire time he's been there. But yeah, you're exactly right. It seems like they have focused too heavily on their attacking style of play, and they're forgetting about that holding spot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's an essential part of a lineup.
Yes.
But yeah, let's keep moving. It looks like Luciano Spalletti has reached an agreement to become the next Italy head coach.
That's a big deal. Spalletti is a super, super good head coach. I feel like it's always good to have a head coach that's also the same nationality as the players. That doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this is a good move for Italy.
Agreed. I think there's honestly in Italy not a lot of better options.
Yeah. I mean, Ancelotti is really the only other Italian manager I can think of that would be like ridiculous. But it looks like he could be going to Brazil, which would be like World Cup winning.
Oh yeah.
That'd be unfair.
As long as Neymar doesn't get too lazy out there at his compound.
Of course.
But just to reiterate this one, Liverpool showing interest in Ryan Gravenberch. But this one is a little more interesting to me. Man City is eyeing Dani Olmo from Leipzig. It appears Leipzig is not looking to sell and would request a huge fee for Dani Olmo.
Well, Dani Olmo is a center mid that could easily play in the Premier League. I love Dani Olmo. Liverpool should be looking at Dani Olmo.
Yeah, of course. They need another guy that can play center attacking mid / right wing.
Yeah, but Danny Olmo would be a wonderful thing for Manchester City, especially with the Kevin De Bruyne injury. And if they can get Lucas Paqueta too, that's going to be a deadly center mid pairing.
Yeah, once again, the rich would get richer.
Exactly.
But Roma made a couple of moves over in Italy. Renato Sanchez heading to Roma on a season-long loan from PSG, I believe. Or was he on loan to I don't even know. But they've got an option to buy at the end of that. But they also signed PSG's Leandro Paredes.
Yeah, you can't ever dog on the players that Mourinho wants because he was the guy that told Roman Abramovich, like, I understand, Roman, you're giving me all this money, but I want Drogba. No, I don't want Shevchenko. I don't want R9. Give me Drogba. Who's Drogba? I'll show you who Drogba is. That's the kind of Mourinho guy, or the Mourinho transfer mindset. And so yeah, Leandro Paredes, great move. And honestly, Renato Sanchez, I still think he has potential. So another good move.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Aymeric Laporte is close to a move to Al Nassr. Looks like this one's mainly driven just because Man City isn't giving him minutes.
Yeah, a good center back who maybe you could make an argument that he's kind of fallen off, but he's a player that I don't really care to move to Saudi Arabia.
Agreed.
So.
It looks like Bayern was holding talks with David De Gea, and it appears that Thomas Tuchel vetoed the move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that came out today. Very interesting that he would veto that with all of this keeper drama going on with Bayern. It's kind of a weird play.
Yeah, it is. David De Gea needs to play somewhere though. Like let's not forget what he led the league in last year, like clean sheets and everything. That's a pretty important stat. So, yeah, David De Gea needs to stay in Europe.
Yeah, or come to the MLS.
Or come to the MLS.
Come to Atlanta United. Brad Guzan's not cutting it.
No, he's not.
But our next move, Newcastle, have made a £35 million offer to Chelsea for Lewis Hall. And it appears that the fee has been agreed upon.
Yeah, our two teams talking. Lewis Hall, kind of like Ian Maatsen, a player that I've seen in FIFA as like a 50 to 60 overall guy. I think he would probably do better in Newcastle. I can't really see Lewis Hall getting much playing time or working his way into even the bench at Chelsea just with the moves that we've made at his position. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, it was interesting because I believe we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He just signed like a 6-year extension.
Oh, wow.
So very interesting that he's on his way out. But this guy's on his way out, Hakim Ziyech. And it actually looks like he did pass his medical to go to Galatasaray. It only took him 2 tries.
Yeah, 2 tries.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, good to see him finally go so he can get the playing time that he deserves. He's a fun player. So,
yeah, glad that he's finally out of there.
And I mean, he's still playing, big soccer. I know we've said it before, but there's nothing to scoff at with the Turkish league, man. They care about it over there.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's and you still get Champions League potentially.
Yeah, for sure. This one's interesting. I haven't heard anything else on top of this, but it appears that Ansu Fati may be leaving Barcelona.
Yeah, this one's interesting. He obviously very early on in his career of becoming like kind of a mainstream young talent in Barcelona's ranks. Giving him the number 10 obviously was probably a little bit of a mistake because he's just been kind of hurt the entire time. So I kind of like the Barcelona leave. I think he needs to go play somewhere else where he's the guy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's got talent, just he can't. It's not going to be on full display at Barcelona.
No.
This one's interesting though. Lucas Digne may join Neymar and head to Al-Hilal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't really have much to comment on that. He's kind of like I'd put him in the Laporte move where it's like he's a good player that Europe is losing, but it's also like a player that I don't mind not being able to watch. Kind of.
Yeah, I think he's had his European career. It's come to, he's not developing anymore.
No.
So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Looks like Stuttgart's Wataru Endo is heading to Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know much about this guy, but I saw that today. It may be a good move. I don't actually even really know what position he plays.
I believe he's a midfielder, so that could be a good sign. He's probably an attacking midfielder with the conversations we've had, but yeah, I like just like you. I haven't heard much about this guy. Japanese player. He is a midfielder. Yeah, defensive midfielder. So maybe they are actually making a move.
I'm actually reading here that he could miss 6 Liverpool games. Not too sure if it's injury related.
Okay.
Toro Endo may miss 6 Liverpool games as 2 more transfers could follow amid $65 million release clause. So, yeah, not really too sure what that means. I don't know if it's being stalled because they're trying to buy other players or what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm really
headline.
Not too sure. I'm looking at an article right now from the Express, and they're saying that Liverpool kind of need to make this move happen within the next day, essentially, because Wataru Endo doesn't want to miss any games. It looks like he would like to debut this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, with how Liverpool, with how massive they've been, good. I'm glad that he's coming out and saying that.
Yeah, but
move on
supposedly if they can't get it done quick enough, he might be frustrated and back out.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
They got to move quickly. But our next move, Union Berlin have signed Robin Gosens from Inter.
Okay.
That's, not a bad move. I think Union Berlin just trying to bolster this squad that had such a fantastic year last year.
Kind of like how we see in the Premier League, I always like the teams that have a abnormally good finish and then try to have an off season where they want to build off of that instead of just selling all their good players. So respect to Union Berlin.
Yeah. And then looks like Alisson is being targeted by Al Nassr.
Shit.
Oh no. Not Liverpool. Damn. Shucks.
Yeah,
that motherfucker is so
shucks.
gone, dude.
Yeah, he's done.
They're gonna throw a fucking bag at him.
They are.
But Al-Hilal already confirmed the goalkeeper themselves. Yassine Bounou, I believe is how you pronounce it, Bounou, formerly of Sevilla, headed to Al-Hilal.
Yeah, a Moroccan national player.
Yeah.
Who you don't really see a lot of Moroccan national players. Of course, they have Ziyech and Amrabat, I think, is over there, and I think they have one center mid that's pretty good as well.
Well, they also have Hakimi.
That's right. Duh. Yeah, he's probably the best player over there. But I really like this goalie, but a player that I don't care to see join Saudi club. So.
Yeah, doesn't really quite matter to me. Reportedly, Mo Salah is keen on a move to Saudi Arabia and has told his agents to start negotiating.
See, and that's kind of, what I brought up earlier. When he got subbed off versus Chelsea, he was not happy. And, the other side of that is I'm going to compare it to the NFL. You have a wide receiver that's really good who just wants the ball more. People will always try to make a story out of that, oh, he wants to leave this team because he's not getting the ball. No, he's just a hungry player who's competing at the highest level who wants the ball. Obviously, you could compare it to Mo Salah. He could just be mad about getting subbed off because, it's a 1-1 game against a very competitive team, and, he didn't score in that game. So now, reading this, it's kind of maybe there's more to Mo Salah than what could have happened with getting subbed off versus Chelsea. Maybe he really just isn't a fan of Liverpool anymore. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I will say I love this next move. Santi Cazorla at 38 years old has joined his boyhood club, Real Oviedo, on a 1-year deal for the La Liga Segunda Division or La Liga 2 minimum wage.
So you had to have watched the Spin FC videos about Real Oviedo, right?
Of course, he's still like a minority owner in them, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't read anything like since, like those videos came out a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I will never forget him like vlogging the Real Oviedo games. And I was like, shit, this looks awesome for, Div 2 Spanish soccer.
I think at the time they were Division 3.
Oh, okay. But I mean, even more of a story, but like, yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that, because that's the only reason I know who Real Oviedo even are.
Yeah.
But very cool to see one of my favorite, players from my childhood leaving to go back there. I didn't know that was his boyhood club.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
I think I remember Spencer talking about that in the videos. But I love this, and like his reasoning for taking the minimum wage was like, Real Oviedo gave me so much in my career and early in my career that they owe me nothing more.
It's so good to see the players like this amidst all the like Saudi moves and shit. It's still good to see that we have players like Messi and Santi Cazorla who aren't gonna, I guess like kind of sell out to Saudi Arabia.
Doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
And then this is just kind of some news, and I hate to say I called it again, Luke.
Uh-oh.
But the Saudi Arabian Football Association are reportedly in talks with the UEFA over having a Saudi team in the Champions League from 2025 onwards.
Man, I don't know how I feel about this, because like the Saudi teams have gotten so good, and it would be really interesting to see how a Saudi team with European players could play in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But the petty side of me is like, no, like, fuck off. kind of thing. So
I told you this would happen.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this just yet.
Okay, well, I think you'll feel better about this one. Inter Miami have officially been invited to participate in the next Copa Libertadores.
Oh man. Messi going home to play against club like other Argentinian team. Of course, like the Copa Libertadores is, everything, but like, dang, if Messi goes to Argentina and play, damn.
Yeah, this happened because of the president of the Argentinian FA formally sent like a recommendation to the CONCACAF, right? That's South America. Yes. CONCACAF. Yeah, he sent that to their people, and they're officially inviting them to the Copa Libertadores, which is fantastic. It's literally just going to be a Lionel Messi Argentina tour.
Yeah.
Yes, he'll play like Colombian teams and Chilean teams and stuff like that, but still.
Yeah, I think this is super cool. And maybe, who knows, maybe, an MLS team being invited to participate in the Copa Libertadores, maybe that means, good things for the MLS as a whole. So, who knows? Yeah,
for sure. And as I do, I go back to Twitter to see what we missed. This is awesome. Gianluigi Buffon was getting interviewed, said, "I thank people who consider me the best keeper of all time, but that's not the case. They think that because I lasted a long time, but for me, the best goalkeeper of all time comes from Spain, Iker Casillas."
Oh, man.
How crazy is that? He said, "I haven't won everything in football, and I think I should be considered number 3 or 4 because number 2 is Manuel Neuer. He also won everything at a club level as well as a World Cup. That's why I think I'm number 3, but that's just my opinion." What? Wow. He's just full of class, man.
Fair play, Buffon. If you, any of the viewers out there, and I've known that Buffon is this kind of like personality for a long time. If you're, like I said, if you're a soccer fan, go watch First Team Juventus on Netflix. It kind of interviews Buffon, or just watch any interview that has Gianluigi Buffon in it. He's just a treat.
Yeah, so he's awesome. Other stuff, Kevin Volland has left Monaco and will join Union Berlin.
Oh, wow, okay.
Let's see. Manchester United have hopped in on the interest for Ryan Gravenberch. Imagine they steal him from Liverpool.
Liverpool end up with
Oh
nobody.
my God. Apparently Bayern doesn't want to sell him, but he has been insisting on trying for a Premier League move.
Wow. Okay.
Inter have made an offer of 25 million euros for Benjamin Pavard.
Okay.
Solid
move.
Oh, Nicolo Zaniolo will sign his contract with Aston Villa tonight. The standout from Galatasaray.
Good for him. He looked good at Roma before Galatasaray too, I thought. So
yeah. Looks like Xavi wants Giovanni Lo Celso if the pursuit of Bernardo Silva falls through.
Lo Celso is super underrated.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, West Ham getting in talks with Ajax again over Kudus. That would be a great move. Looks like a verbal agreement is done, and Ajax are looking for 40 million euros.
It's good business.
Oh, and I want to talk about this. The English FA will consider Serena Wegman, who is the women's head coach, as Gareth Southgate's successor if or when he moves on from being manager of England's men's team.
What a story that would be.
Yeah, I think they're in the final against Spain in the Women's World Cup, correct?
Yeah, they beat Australia yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, this is just wild.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this, of course, but also what I'm about to say. Harry Kane has signed a long-term shoe deal, like a cleat boot deal, with Skechers.
Harry Kane, come on.
Yep.
Don't go downhill from here, man.
He left Nike, and he's joining Skechers. The cleats look kind of sick.
I haven't even seen them.
It looks like they don't release until September, but they're already on the Skechers website for £195.
How much dollars is that?
I think that's just over 200. So probably about the same price as like some Nike, like the elite level cleats.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
you know what? They do look kind of sick.
They look pretty cool.
All right, Harry Kane.
Shout out Skechers.
Shout out Skechers.
All right. Anything else? Anything? Oh, Theo Walcott is retiring.
What a career.
Yeah.
What a player.
And I think that's just about it. I think we have fully caught up. So, yeah. Well, it's time for Stake Your Claim.
Let's do it. You want to kick it off for me?
I'll take the reins here.
Right.
I'll keep it with soccer. Going back to the Prem, I believe that Manchester City will be out of the top 4 by mid-December when Kevin De Bruyne returns.
Really?
Yeah, I think he is that much of a game changer for the squad. Of course, Haaland's still going to be able to score goals. But without the playmaking of Kevin De Bruyne, I think this entire team around them takes a hit.
Okay.
And so, look, it's going to be mid-December. So, like, it's not like they're going to be out of reach. I think that maybe we're not going to see that, like, elite level, like, 3-loss season that we think.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more of a grind.
Yeah.
I like that take. I'm going to keep it in the Prem, and as far as, like, where teams will be at, I think Liverpool and Tottenham will both be outside of the top 7.
All right.
I know that one's kind of flaming, but I feel like with the turmoil of Liverpool right now, it'll just continue to hurt them.
Yeah.
And Tottenham, I haven't really heard any news of players they're going to bring in. Heung-min Son still just kind of looks meh, just not good enough really. And Richarlison, still can't score as their strikers. So yeah, it's very early prediction, but I think Liverpool and Tottenham could finish really poor outside of the top 7.
All right. Yeah, they'll be fighting for a Conference League spot.
Yes.
But that is going to do it for the boys. Another fantastic week in the books. And a better week ahead every week. It's going to be better. And we've got some preseason games. I think there's one being played right now in the NFL. Let's see. What do we got? We got Browns-Eagles going on right now. Browns are up 8-3. They had the first quarter, the score was 2-3 Eagles.
It's a soccer score.
Interesting. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is having another fucking masterclass. 164 passing yards already.
Yeah.
And Marcus Mariota having a shitter. What a surprise. But yeah, we got some NFL preseason still rolling. We've got the, of course, a fantastic MLB weekend like we talked about. Tons of Premier League to watch. And the best way to follow along is by following us. And you can follow us everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Join the subreddit because I want to get it more active. Follow us on the podcast platforms, of course. That's where you're listening to this right now. Or you're on YouTube. In that case, subscribe, comment, like, everything you'd like to do on all of those platforms. Do it. Do you, man. But we will always be here. And as always, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.